can violent offenders find true rehabilitation? Imagine a world where even those who have committed the most serious crimes can turn their lives around. It sounds hopeful, but is it really possible? Today, we're going to look into whether violent offenders can truly change through rehabilitation programs. Rehabilitation programs aim to lower the chances of reoffending by tackling things like denial, blaming others, and not feeling empathy for victims. These programs often include psychological treatments that focus on changing behavior. For example, cognitive behavioral therapy helps offenders recognize and modify harmful thought patterns. Some studies show that when violent offenders participate in these programs, especially those that focus on violence and empathy, they tend to show improvements in understanding victims and feeling motivated to change. This can lead to fewer violent crimes after they are released. But completing these programs is very important. Offenders who finish their treatment tend to have lower reoffending rates than those who drop out early. For instance, treated violent offenders and sex offenders often show fewer reconvictions compared to untreated groups. Treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy and behavior therapy are considered some of the most effective psychological options. However, the overall success rate of rehabilitation programs is not very high. On average, correctional treatment reduces reoffending by about 10%. Some programs do better, cutting reoffending by 20 to 30%, but others have little effect or even make reoffending more likely. This means many violent offenders still end up back in trouble with the law even after treatment. Recidivism rates for violent offenders are still high. Nearly 25% are rearrested within the first year after releases. Over half are rearrested within 5 years. This shows how tough it is to achieve long-term change in this group. Psychological treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy show mixed results. Some recent reviews say these therapies only have modest or no clear impact on reducing reoffending, especially because they often lack follow-up support after releases. The environment inside prisons can sometimes make things worse. Repeated incarceration can increase the risk of future crimes. Studies suggest that prisons sometimes make offenders more likely to reoffend rather than help them stop. To improve outcomes, programs need to include support after releases, like help finding jobs and housing. Educational programs in prison also help offenders gain skills that make it easier to stay out of trouble once they are free. In the end, true rehabilitation for violent offenders is possible but very hard to achieve. It takes ongoing, comprehensive efforts that address psychological, social, and practical needs both inside prison and after releases. The high rates of reoffending reminded us that current methods still have limits. Understanding these facts helps us see that changing violent offenders is a long process, and success is not guaranteed.